All right, Hawks, today we're going to go over your Unit 2 review. If you were in class, you got to go over it. Now, if you're studying at home, please go over it again, as it will help you tremendously on the tests for Tuesday. Okay, here we go. Number 1, Sallie Mae Bank charged Raphael 4 7/75% interest on his law school loans. Represent Raphael's interest charge as a decimal and a fraction. Okay, so right here we have 4 7/75%. So it is in a percent, and we have to represent it in a decimal and fraction. So remember, when I'm changing this to a decimal, I move it 2 places to the left. 1, 2. Okay, so there is my decimal. Now I have 2 answer choices I can mark out. I can mark out B and C. Okay, so now we need to figure out if it's A or D. Well, I have 475 10,000ths. So I'm going to put 475. Remember, because that's the number behind the decimal. And the place value of the 5 becomes my denominator. Remember, place value is denominator. And so that's 475 over 10,000. Now, when I go and I simplify, I can use 25. So I'm divide by 25, divide by 25, and I get 19 over 400. And if I'm not sure what this is, then I can also just divide this by 25, and I get 400 in my denominator, and that shows me A is not correct. So my answer is D. Good job, Hawks. All right, Hawks, number 2. Summer saved $25 on a pair of jeans that were 60% off the original price. What was the original price of the jeans before the sale? Okay, so we are looking for the original price. We're going to have a part, which is $25, whole, which would be X, and our percent, of course, is 60%. Okay, so I'm going to go set it up in my formula. I have 25 over X equals 60 over 100. So I'm going to cancel out these zeros right here, and I'm going to get 25 over X equals 6/10. Now I'm going to cross multiply and divide. So I get 6X equals 250. And I'm going to divide each side by 6 to get my original price. So this is going to be 250 divided by 6. It's 24. Okay, so I've changed this to a decimal and bring it up top because I am dealing with money. Add my 0, bring it down, I get 40. That's 6. 6 times 6 is 36, and it's just going to keep repeating itself. So it would be $41, and we're rounding to the nearest hundredth. So $41.67. All right, next question. We have number 3. What percent is represented by the unshaded portion of the grid below? So I'm looking for what percent. So this is still going to be a part whole percent question. So my part is the unshaded portion, which is 5, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And then I have 3 rows, which is 18. 19, 20, and 21. So my part is 21. And my whole is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. 1, 2, 3, 6. So that is 30. And I'm still looking for the percent. So I have 21 over 30 equals X over 100. Now again, I can simplify 21 over 30. I'm going to divide it by 3 and divide it by 3. I get 7/10. 7/10 is equal to X over 100. Now I can cross multiply and divide. I'm going to have 10X equals 700. So when I divide each side by 10, I end up with X equals 70%. All right, good job, Hawks. Let's move on to number 4. So number 4 says there are 50 families in Palmer that have a season pass to Hawaiian Falls. Only 70% of those members use their season pass regularly. You may use the number line below to determine the number of members who use their season pass regularly. All right, so here we go. on my number line, I go from 0% to 100%, which is equivalent to 50, which is the 50 families. Now, if I'm going from 0 to 100, and I'm counting by, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. 100 divided by 5 is 20. So that means 10 is equivalent to 20%. 20 is equivalent to 40%. 30 is equivalent to 60%. And 40 is equivalent to 80%. Okay, so I'm looking for 70%. Well, what's halfway between 60 and 80? 70%. So we would have 70%. And what is halfway between 30 and 40? Well, that would be our 35. Okay, so 35 is our answer. All right, number 5. According to a survey conducted at Talon Camp, 480 of the 600 incoming sixth graders have a device for school. Express the fraction of the students that do not have a device. Okay, so 480 of them have a device out of 600. So I'm going to take 600 and I'm going to subtract 480 because I want to know the decimal of the ones that do not have the device. Okay, so when I subtract this, I get 120. So I'm going to have 120 over 600. Okay, I'm going to divide each of this by 10 because they both end in 0. So I'm going to get 12 over 60, which I can still divide by 12. So that gives me 1/5. So the decimal that is equivalent over 1/5 is 1 divided by 5. Decimal, bring it up top, I get 10. 2 times 5 is 10, and no remainder. So my decimal is 2/10. And then, of course, we bubble it in. All right, here we go. Jimothy has eaten 2/16 of his gallon of chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream. What percentage is equivalent to the fraction of ice cream that Jimothy has eaten? All right, so I'm going to have 2/16. So my part is 2, my whole is 16. If I want to change that, I can find the percent. Or I could just do 2 divided by 16 and move that decimal 2 places to the right to get my percent. So I'm going to have 2 divided by 16. Okay, 16 doesn't go into 2. So I add my decimal, bring it up top, and I get 20. 1 times 16 is 16. My remainder is 4. So I need to add a 0 and bring that down, and I get 40. And then 2 times 16 is 32. 40 minus 32 is 8. Need to add a 0 and bring it down, and I get 80. So 5 times 16 is 80. 80 minus 80 is 0. So there is my decimal. This is my decimal, but I want the percent. So I need to move the decimal 2 places to the right, and I get 12.5%, which is my answer. Okay, number 7. Samantha and Amanda's birthday party was last weekend. The strip diagram below shows the pieces of birthday cake left over after the party. What value is equivalent to the amount of cake left over? Okay, so if I have 9/5, I want to figure out, well, that needs to be greater than 1, and only have 2 amounts in my answer choices that are greater than 1. So I can mark out B and I can mark out C. Now let's go and work out 1 and 4/5. So remember, my decimal comes after the 1, and then I have 4 divided by 5. So 4 divided by 5. Well, 5 doesn't go into 4, so I have to add my decimal and bring it up top. And then I get 40. 8 times 5 is 40. 40 minus 40 is 0. So 8/10 is my decimal for 5/4. So I need to add that to 1. And I get 1 and 8/10. Your answer is D. All right, number 8. If the shaded model represents 100%, So remember, this all equals 100%. Which model represents 55%? Okay, well, if I'm looking at B and C, those are going to be greater than 100%. B would be 300%, so I can mark that out. C is going to be 200 and something percent, so I can mark out C. Now let's go check between A and D. So in A, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 spaces, so these are all counting by 10%. So I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Then I have half of the one that represents 60%. So this is equivalent to 55%. So my answer is A. Okay, number 9. Carly C. recorded 20 rap songs this year. Kim had time to learn 4 of her raps so far this year. What percent of Carly C's rap songs has Kim learned so far? Okay, so we're going to have a part, whole, and percent question. And we're also going to use the strip diagram to help us answer. Okay, so she recorded 20 rap songs in all, so there's your whole. And Kim only learned 4 rap songs, so that would be 4. So we're going to find the percent that represents 4/20ths. Well, right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Each of these are going to represent 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, and 50%. Well, she hasn't learned 10 songs, and 10 is half of 20. That would be 50%. So we're just going to go up to 50%. That is it. All right. Now, we already know that this is 10 spaces. Well, 20 divided by 10 is 2, so that means I'm counting by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, so here is my 4 is equivalent to 20%. So if I were to have 4/20 equals X over 100, multiply this by 5. When I do the bottom, I do to the top, and I get 20%. So that checks out. So my answer is C. All right, last one, number 10. Mr. Waller is on his way to SeaWorld with his family. SeaWorld is a total of 180 miles away. He drove 60 miles before stopping to take a break. What percentage of the trip has he driven? Okay, so this is still going to be a part, whole, percent. Now, the part he has driven is 60 miles out of the 180, and we are looking for the percent. So I'm going to have 60 over 180 equals X over 100. Now I can divide the numerator and denominator by 60. So I get 1/3 equals X over 100. So this turns into 3X equals 100. And I'm going to divide by 3. Divide by 3. So I'm going to get 100 divided by 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. That remainder is 1. I bring down my 0. I get 10 again. So I'm going to have another 3. 3 times 3 is 9. And it's going to keep repeating itself. Even if I go here and I add a decimal and have 0, bring it down, I get 10. That would be a 3, which is 9. So my percent is 33 3/10%. Repeating. Okay, so the only answer that is logical is A. All right, good job, Hawks. I hope that review helped a little more than what we did in class, and have a great day. Bye.